Hi there, welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Robert K. Sarkos is my name. Welcome to the Premier League Super Sunday preview. There, I thought I should do this one a bit separately, considering the thick and thin of things at the top of the table. The top two sides will be playing on Super Sunday, having found out what the result will have been between Manchester City and Luton Town. I think by the time these two sides get into the thick of their action, Manchester City will be at the summit of the Premier League table. Liverpool do host Crystal Palace at 4 p.m., while Arsenal at 6:30 p.m. will be at the Emirates Stadium to host Aston Villa. Starting at Anfield, Liverpool will want to quickly bounce back from that embarrassing 3-0 defeat against Atlanta on Thursday in the Europa League at the quarter-final stage. Jurgen Klopp saying that they were quite poor, they were everywhere and nowhere. Arguably the worst game he has seen his team play at Anfield, and so maybe perhaps the timing is not really good for them to play Crystal Palace, because it is one of those bogey sides, one of the sides that tend to trouble them sometimes or give them a hard time to beat. But you do think that with all the players that Liverpool have managed to welcome back, with the exception of Alson Ramsey-Specker, I think Joel Matip and Thiago Alcantara, they are able to field a very top quality team that can beat up against Crystal Palace, who on the other side do struggle with some injuries, including Shaq Diakore, Sam Johnston, Matthias Frank, as well as Rob Holding, among others. So Oliver Glasner is yet to get a good hold of his team. Yes, they did trouble Manchester City and could have scored more in that particular one, as they lost by 4-2 at Selhurst Park. But eventually Manchester City just blew them away. They seem too good for Palace's quality. Yes, Palace did welcome back Michael Olise, who featured in that one, coming on as a substitute. But Liverpool, like I was saying, have welcomed a host of players for themselves, including their lethal forward in Diego Jota, although he missed a header in that 3-0 loss against Atlanta. In goal, of course, they will continue with Callagher. Joe Gomez is one of those that I thought had a fairly good game against Atlanta. Is available. Then they had Ibrahim Konate, Virgil van Dijk in that centre back. Andy Robertson returned. He was a second half substitute. And then a midfield of Alexis McAllister, Wataru Endu, and Dominic Soboslai, as well as Ryan Gravenberch, who they can look forward to field, is potent enough to beat up against Crystal Palace. The forward of Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Diego Jota, whoever they choose to start in that starting 11, are all players that have the potential to beat up against Crystal Palace. But like I did say, that Crystal Palace tends to be a very stubborn side for Liverpool. Joan Felipe Mateta there on the front line, Edson Eduardo, Jordan Ayew, Michael Olise, all those are players that on a good day can trouble any side. Ebelechi Eze in that attacking midfield role, or playing as a number 10, depending on how they field him. Then Jeffrey Shirap. You think that they can have a decent team that can give Liverpool a hard time. Of course, Liverpool will have to go in all for this one, because they are right in the thick of the title chase for the Premier League. I do not think they would want to squander it for anything, but also, arguably, they may want to play with Atlanta at the back of their mind if they want to advance beyond the quarterfinals, because they do travel to Italy next week with that 3-0 deficit, which potentially they have the player part and experience to overturn, but until it happens, we'll have to wait and see. So I'm thinking Liverpool are going to nick this one by 2-1. I do think it will be a victory for Jurgen Klopp, but again, should Crystal Palace mount quite the challenge, if they are able to play as a team, defend as a team, and be solid, try to be, because Liverpool often play at the front foot. They have shown us that they can concede goals throughout the season. If they if Crystal Palace are able to close those spaces through which Mohamed Salah or Luis Diaz may run in, avoid any long balls from perhaps from midfield, from either McAllister or even backline of Virgil van Dijk into Darwin Núñez, they can perhaps limit the damage that Liverpool may want to cause them. So to let me know what your predictions are for that particular. And then the other fixture on Sunday, still at 4 p.m., is between West Ham United and Fulham. But our focus will skip that and go to Arsenal versus Aston Villa at the Emirates Stadium. That game kickoff slated for 6:30 p.m. Eastern African time. Looking at team news, Arsenal are only missing Urian Timber, while Aston Villa will be out without Matty Cash, Jacob Ramsey, Emi Buendia, Tyrone Mings, some of their absentees or potential absentees for this particular fixture. I think Arsenal lost to Aston Villa by a goal to nil in the first leg, thanks to John McGinn, who will be returning, I think, from that, ban, the red card he suffered against Tottenham in that 4-0 loss. Their form is a bit poor. I think they've lost one game in their last 5. That's for Aston Villa, so they will be desperate to get all 3 points if they are to sort of retain their hopes of finishing in the top 4. But they do face a very defensively solid Arsenal, who are also a very good threat going forward. Maybe the questions for the Arsenal side will be who Mikel Arteta feels in that left back role, because we did see Jakub Kiwior struggle against Bayern Munich, and he had to be replaced at halftime to bring in Alexander Zinchenko. Takahiro Tomiyasu is available. Maybe he was not 100% fit enough to start in that Bayern Munich game, but I do think he may want to give him a test on this one if he is to utilize him in the return leg on Wednesday against FC Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena. Yes, there was a blunder there, I thought, by David Raya committing himself to come way up in the pitch when Gabriel Magalhaes had full control of the situation and looked to play him in, but he was way in no man's land. So that's how they conceded the equalizer against Bayern Munich through their former player Inzaghi Gnabry. But when it comes to the team that you do expect Mikel Arteta to field, you do expect David Raya, Ben White, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba in that defense. My instincts are going for Takahiro Tomiyasu at that left back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does field Alexander Zinchenko, because this is the fixture in which he scored his first ever Premier League goal, and he scored, I think, the equalizer to make it 2-2 at Villa Park last season, as Arsenal beat up against Aston Villa by 4-2. I think we all remember that early goal by Oli Watkins, and then Bukayo Saka scoring the equalizer, but then Philippe Coutinho did score to make it 2-1. Then in the second half, Alexander Zinchenko scored the leveler before late on in the game, Jorginho with a thunderous strike that hit the woodwork before bouncing off the back of Emi Martinez to hit the back of the net. And then late on, Gabriel Martinelli scoring an open net when Emiliano Martinez had committed himself to go for a corner kick for Arsenal to win it 4-2 in that particular fixture. So, but like I did mention, the first leg ended in defeat for the Gunners, which was the second defeat for the Gunners, I think, in the season. Earlier on, they had lost to Newcastle in a very contentious manner by a goal to nil. That goal was scored, I think, by Anthony Gordon, with Joelinton having appeared to push Gabriel Magalhaes in the mix of that. So, but anyway, in midfield, I do expect him to field Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard. And then the forward line is where it could get tricky for him, because he has all players available: Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Jesus, but of course the expectation is that Kai Havertz may lead that forward line. So anyway, whichever players he does feel, he may want to kill this game as soon as possible to try and then get some bit of resting time for his players that will then be traveling to Germany for that Bayern Munich return leg at the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. On the side of Unai Emery, like I said, they have struggled in the last 5 games, just winning 1, and he's looking to. They did have a victory in the UEFA Conference League on Thursday, but all that notwithstanding, it goes without. It is true that they have struggled in the Premier League. Their last fixture being it's 3-3 draw against Brentford, while on the other side their opponents of Arsenal were beating up against Brighton by 3-0. Nonetheless, you do expect that Emi Martinez, a former Arsenal player, will be there available in goal with the point to prove. They do have a Calum Chambers, a former Arsenal player. They do have a Pau Torres, all those in that defense. Then in their midfield, Douglas Luiz will be absent through suspension, having accumulated, I think, 6 yellow cards. So they may look to Yuri Tillemans to play in that midfield role, Nicole Zaniolo to help in there, John McGinn. Then the forward line to be led by Ollie Watkins, one of the most on-form players this season. He has a 28-goal involvement, 18 goals to his name and 10 assists. He did score a brace against Brentford last weekend. It's just a goal behind the top scorer in Braut Erling Haaland. So while Mohamed Salah has 17 goals to his name, they are coming in third place. Cole Palmer with 16 goals to his name, just as many as Dominic Solanke of AFC Bournemouth. So clearly, Ollie Watkins, Arsenal will have to be wary of him. Then Leon Bailey in that forward line, Moussa Diaby on the other side. So of course, Jacob Ramsey is absent for this particular one, but that is a side equally decent enough to beat up against any other team on a good day in the Premier League. So I do not think Arsenal will want to be by any means complacent while facing Aston Villa. In any case, they may want to be a bit revengeful given that first leg loss. For this one, I'm tipping Arsenal to win it by 3-1 on Super Sunday. Otherwise, that's it for me for the Super Sunday Premier League preview. Do let me know what your thoughts are. Do let me know what you think, what your predictions will be for those particular fixtures. Otherwise, have a blessed rest of the weekend, and I'll see you next time. See you next week during the course of the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Europa League, and the UEFA Conference League. Do look out for all that action. Do not miss out on the Spanish La Liga. If you're fan there, Real Madrid do play Rayo Mallorca, while Barcelona will be up against Cadiz. All those sides will be back in the UEFA Champions League, as well as Atletico Madrid. So keep it locked on the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Do not forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to grow. And I'll keep giving you more news and updates from the world of football. Stay blessed.